every day this week.
It's a busy week, and we are here to get you ready for what's ahead in your day. I'm meteorologist Jen Carfagno.
And storm expert Dr. Greg Postel, of course, from coast to coast. The Weather Channel has you covered.
All right, Wichita, headlining today, off the rails in Wichita with 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
Yes, very early this morning.
4:30.
Right, local time. A line of thunderstorms moved through Wichita from storms that developed later on in the afternoon yesterday. They intensified overnight, moved through over 100 miles per hour. I think 101 at the airport at ICT. Incredible.
Absolutely incredible. It's still been windy ever since, though. It's not 100 miles per hour, but we certainly have had some issues, winds gusting 20, 30, 40 miles per hour. Look at it out there, right? You know, what time was this at? This was 5 o'clock. Yeah.
Remarkable stuff. If you've never been through one of these nighttime thunderstorm events, in the plains in particular, they are terrifying. I've been through a bunch of them. It's not a place you want to be in. Frequent
lightning, rain coming in sheets, and we could actually see again a big cluster of storms, and maybe even in Kansas. So we'll get to all of that. Today's big deal is tracking. We are here to get you ready for what's ahead in your day. I'm meteorologist Jen Carfagno.
And I'm storm expert Dr. Greg Postel. And of course, from coast to coast, the Weather Channel has you covered. And Jen, we were covering some big time weather earlier this morning in Kansas.
Yeah, this came through about 4:30 in Wichita with massive wind. Gusts of 101 miles per hour at the Wichita airport.
Not from a tornado, from straight line winds with an overnight complex that moved southward across Kansas. Thankfully, it's weakened, but certainly made a mess of it last night across parts of the central and southern plains.
Well, you know, this video was after the most extreme wind, about a half hour after it stayed windy. You can see the wind coming through and pushing the rain in sheets across the rail line here. There is actually still a flash flood warning in effect.
It's amazing. And your point was earlier, a really good one, that the winds that are associated with these complexes of storms don't last a few seconds like an often single thunderstorm might. They last for tens of minutes, half an hour at a time, where it's really windy. It's like a tropical system.
It was incredibly convective, too. So much lightning. You can see it in this video. The thing is, we will likely do this again overnight tonight with a big cluster of storms with big wind. It really is. There's so many little subtle details that matter. And as we look ahead in the forecast, we're going to start in a place like St. Louis, virtually very foggy here. The sun will come out, though. But the problem is, when the sun comes out this time of year, it helps increase the instability. So the threat for us in St. Louis is going to ramp up tomorrow. For today, you know, we're not looking at a huge risk of severe weather, but things do change as we get to tomorrow. And you'll see that in our forecast. Thunderstorms make our way through, maybe even late tonight, actually, but into tomorrow morning with thunderstorms that could be strong or even severe. Now, late in the day, it all moves out, actually, and by Thursday, we're sunny. We're not cooling down behind a front. That's also the thing about summer fronts, is all they really do is help lift up the severe weather, and they don't bring in cooler or drier air. But we've got the risk of storms. And out ahead of the boundary, as it moves farther east tomorrow, we've got damaging wind, we've got hail and tornado potential. There's a 3 on the Torcon. That does include you in St. Louis and extends up to Chicago and Detroit, Indianapolis. Here's where we'll be tomorrow as we get through the day. Out ahead of the front in the warm sector, the brighter colors indicating where we have some of the biggest available potential energy that could really be the fuel for thunderstorms. Wind energy, another part of it as well, and some stronger winds punching in across this area. We'll have strong surface winds too, and that changing of the direction will help give us that risk for storms that may be in a line, but that could potentially rotate along that line. And that's why there is that 3 on the Torcon. So taking you through the day as we look ahead to the potential for showers and storms. You know, St. Louis, it was earlier in the day. By evening, we're watching things a little bit further to the east. The timing for you, for St. Louis, just to put it all together, is that you've got that risk of storms in the morning, and then we'll keep an eye maybe midday for that second chance of thunderstorms. But through the afternoon, we've got that risk all the way up into Michigan. The chance of thunderstorms, any of them, honestly, do have the risk of going severe. Louisville, for you, it may be late night. This is just about midnight, and then storms coming back into Ohio, big rain-making ones potentially there, and into West Virginia as well. The community has been coming out in full force and joining us on the Weather Channel. We're here to get you ready for what's ahead in your day. I'm meteorologist Jen Carfagno.
And storm expert Dr. Greg Postel, of course, from coast to coast, the Weather Channel has you covered.
Wichita last night, you guys stealing the show with the worst of the weather. Things going off the rails. We had winds gusting to 101 miles per hour in Wichita.
Incredible, from an overnight squall line that moved through that brought severe weather to lots of places in southern Kansas and northern Oklahoma. Thankfully, it's since weakened, but new development will take place, maybe not all that dissimilar from what we saw last night.
The potential is still there. And the thing about these big clusters of storms that can do this kind of thing is you get the wind gust. That was at 4:30 this morning, and then a half an hour later, it's still windy and raining.
That is such a good point, because these nocturnal complexes of storms that are very big don't just bring a puff of wind. They continue it for sometimes tens of minutes, half hour, even an hour in some cases.
And a ton of lightning. This is so vivid. And these storms must be so loud, right? Just impossible to sleep through for sure. Well, today's big deal is tracking.
Researchers with NOAA's National Severe Storms Laboratory have found a way to study hail as it's falling pre-impact. How cool is that?
It's pretty cool. And research scientist Dr. Sean Woe joins us now to tell us more about the high-speed camera that they're using to collect the data. Sean, thank you so much for joining us. This feels like the year of hail, because hail is getting a lot of attention in multiple studies. Tell us more about the one you're doing. So it's camera-based. How does it all work?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for having me, guys.
I'm interested in how it changes shape as well as it falls. Dr. Sean Wall with NOAA's National Severe Storms Laboratory, thank you so much for joining us. Be safe out there, and thanks for all your hard work.
Yes, fantastic interview. I learned so much just listening to the results that are coming in. This is amazing.
Right. And we're only getting a tiny portion of it. There's a lot more to come. Well, the Eastern Pacific is bubbling.